Philadelphia Eagles, they didn't send anybody to the banquet tonight. That's okay. They didn't send anybody to that last playoff game either.
Even without any current Philadelphia Eagles in the house, the 121st Philadelphia Sports Writers Association banquet was another memorable one with plenty of highlights beyond Joe Conklin's annual roast of some of Philly's teams and athletes. One of those highlights, a pair of brothers being honored with separate awards. Yeah, Penn head basketball coach Fran McCaffery receiving the Native Son Award and then presenting the Stan Hochman Award to his big brother, longtime Delaware County Times sports columnist Jack McCaffery, who's been battling health issues for the past year or so. Princeton lacrosse star McKenzie Blake was honored as the year's outstanding amateur athlete. The PSWA presents a Living Legend Award each year, and the honoree this time around was Flyers' two-time Stanley Cup champion and still the NHL's single-season penalty minutes record holder, Dave Schultz. Believe it or not, the Hammer is also an author.
I wrote a book, and the reason it took so long is because I was told I had to read one first.
A Special Achievement Award was to be given to legendary Flyers and Spectrum executive Lou Scheinfeld, but he wasn't feeling great and departed before that presentation was to happen. I did catch up with Lou just before the banquet. He was on our Philly Press Box radio show just last week. What a great guy. Another Special Achievement Award was presented to longtime women's hoops reporter Mel Greenberg, who founded what became the first national women's basketball top 20 rankings 50 years ago this fall. This year's recipient of the Bill Campbell Award for Excellence in Broadcasting was Temple alum and longtime ESPN anchor Kevin Neghandi, who spoke directly to Bill's daughter, Christine, in his speech.
I can't express my gratitude to be even mentioned in the same breath as your father. He was a legend, and his impact is felt not just from a generation that heard him in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. As somebody who is standing here, and I had the chance to share a brief story with my 3 kids. So the generation of Bill Campbell continues. His legend continues here with our family as well. So thank you so much.
The teams of the year for 2025, the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, of course, and the Villanova football team that went 12-3 and made it to the FCS semifinals. The Sports Writers Association hands out a Living Legend Award or two each year, and this year's honorees were the 2001 Philadelphia 76ers team that made it to the NBA Finals, but came up just a bit short of the title thanks to a star-studded LA Lakers team. On hand to represent that 76ers squad on their 25th anniversary was a key reserve from Larry Brown's team, Jumaine Jones, whom I caught up with just before the banquet.
You know, just to be able to start the season out 10-0, to be able to keep that going, to be able to win every award possible that year, the six-man coach of the year, defensive player of the year, to win everything except for the championship, which was the disappointment. But, you can't argue playing against arguably 2 best players that ever played the game, dominant as Shaq and Kobe. Can't be too disappointed, but, we get to celebrate our 25th anniversary this year.
Hey, you mentioned your own coach and the MVP. What are your memories of Larry Brown and Allen Iverson? I'm sure you got some great ones.
Well, it was great just watching so much greatness in Allen Iverson. Another guy who's one of the greatest players that ever played the game, and just, his heart and hustle that he put into the game, and just to be around that night in and night out for 2 years, it just was a blessing. And to see a coach like Larry Brown, who's a living legend, and, to learn from him, throughout my career, I think that's what kept me around the game so long, just stealing a lot of his knowledge that I, took in while I was with him.
Last thing, do you still watch the NBA and the 76ers, and are they going to get back to the playoffs this year?
They'll definitely get to the playoffs. I'm hoping that they get a little healthier, towards the middle of the year after this All-Star break. If we can get Joel Embiid at least 95% and get Paul George back, I think, we got a pretty good chance.
One of the true highlights of the night was the presentation of the Most Courageous Award to Frankford High baseball coach Juan Namnun, who is a survivor of male breast cancer. He was diagnosed in 2022 and is now in remission, and these days is doing whatever he can to spread awareness about that rare disease, which is why he considers himself not just a cancer survivor, but a cancer warrior.
I'm honored to be an ambassador with the American Cancer Society, a wonderful organization that I have partnered with. That I guess what I'm excited about is that being in the sports world, being somebody who has been involved with baseball my entire life, I guess I provide a different lens. I provide a different voice. I guess people listen when it's somebody that looks like them a little bit more, and male breast exams are starting to become a little more normal in the last 12 months because of some of the work we've done.
Great to meet Juan, who is, by the way, a major Phillies fan and says he believes in Rob Thomson and is optimistic about the 2026 Phils. Speaking of which, the PSWA recipient of this year's Good Guy Award, given to a player or coach or executive who is lauded for dealings with the media and fans, is none other than the Phillies skipper. In accepting the award, Thomson said he can't wait to get down to Clearwater next week and for spring training to get started in a few weeks. He said even with the loss of Ranger Suarez, the Phillies starting rotation is a major strain.
We're going to see Andrew Painter come aboard. Young guy who's got a chance to be a star. If he stays healthy, he's got a chance to be a star for many years here in Philadelphia. I'm excited about that. We got Zach Wheeler coming back. He's going to be back early in the season. He's going to be pitching well again. We got Jesus Luzardo, who we got in a trade last offseason. Aaron Nola is going to pitch for Team Italy in the WBC, so he's going to get a head start. He's going to have a bounce back here. So I really feel good. I'm forgetting somebody. Oh! The guy that I thought should. Yeah, you are. When Wheels went down last year, Sanchez grabbed the pitching staff by the neck and ran with it. And he led that staff. And I think, me personally, he should have won the Cy Young.
Yes, that is Cristopher Sanchez, a few feet to Topper's left. Sanchez was on the dais because he was honored as the year's outstanding professional athlete. Sanchez's speech, well, was even shorter than one of his 3-pitch strikeouts.
To me, it's an honor to receive this award, and it makes me work harder and to keep going. And thank you for everything.
Yeah, that's it. Getting back to Rob Thomson, he earlier this week seemed to take exception to the view that the Phillies are running it back. Even though outside of a couple of outfielders, it will be the same lineup of veterans most games, something that Joe Conklin had some fun with.
Even the great Dan Baker begs to differ.
Ladies and gentlemen, these changes for the Phillies, there are none. This is running it back, Rob.
Joe Conklin, always a hit. And as Joe noted at the very top of this piece, there weren't any Eagles players on hand, but you know who did show up? Yes, indeed, Swoop and a bunch of Birds cheerleaders. Fun night, all in all, at the DoubleTree by Hilton in Cherry Hill for the 121st PSWA banquet.